Hi, I'm here with Darren from Botanical Boys. Firstly, congratulations on your award.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tash. I'm very pleased and honoured to be here today.
Of course. Thanks. Yeah, could you possibly delve into your business? What sort of services do you offer?
So Botanical Boys is a way to connect people to nature, and we do that through a series of botanical events. And one of our key events are teaching people how to do the art or how to build a terrarium, which is quite creative, quite artistic, and it goes all the way back from the 1800s. So it's quite a fascinating subject. But we also sell beautiful plants and pots in our shop in King's Cross, and we do local plant installations as well with really nice pots and plants and trees. And we also sell and source handmade objects which are related to nature themselves. So we're not the sort of business that sells lots of mass-produced items, if you like. So we're always on the lookout for individual makers, individual artists, individual items, because we think, especially since the COVID period, it's an extremely important thing people are focusing on now, especially plants in their lives, and a different focus to perhaps reduce some of the stresses we're going through, especially those of us living and working in the city.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned about your wellness programs. What sort of benefits can clients reap from taking part in your workshops?
Yeah, Tash, a lot of benefits are people are focusing very differently, so it forms a very, very relaxing session indeed. It's fun, it's engaging. We have engaging tutors providing the sessions, and they bring their own characters along with them as well, which I think people really resonate to and respond really well. It's a 2-hour session, and you go through the whole steps of building essentially a micro world in the actual botanical event. Or the other events we do is plant care, for example, and styling. So we help you style your plants in your room and how to soften those hard corners in your living rooms, for example. And people are generally very surprised and engaged as to what to do and how to keep plants alive and how to style them and use them, as well as the terrariums, which also form part of that interior art collection, if you like. Something that you've built or nurtured yourself goes a very long way. And people, once they know a little bit more knowledge, they have a little bit more hands-on experience, they tend to pat themselves on the back and say, wow, we've kept this thing going alive for a long time. I know a bit more. And a lot of it, believe it or not, is a very simple advice, which we tend to forget because we're distracted in our day-to-day lives. And that's what we like to think that we bring to our audience. New modern education, reminding people how to look after plants, because at the end of the day, without plants, we don't exist. And that's what we're trying to reconnect people to nature through that, as well as our handmade objects, which we support a lot of artists through as well. So yeah, it's very important that's for our vision going forward.
Yeah, and I think a great part about your workshop is that you're able to infuse botanical knowledge into them, and you really cement this ethos about connecting people with nature. Could you possibly talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, so connecting people to nature is very important to us. Myself and the other co-founder, Benjamin, from the South African side of the business, which is where all the handmade objects came from, for those of you who haven't visited the store in King's Cross yet. So there's that solid connection, because by doing Botanical Boys, it's about how we have travelled our journey and realised actually having plants around us makes us feel relaxed. This wasn't my first ever job. This was a hobby which turned into a job turned into a new career. And we started the business in 2016-17. We were both previously working in IT jobs, 9 till 5, stuck in an office, and obviously COVID hit and everything else. But we started this before COVID, so we realised we were already on a route of something that we were looking at and enjoying. And I think you've got to find something in life that you enjoy and that you can embrace yourself. And be and be fairly passionate about what we found. That's gardening and basic gardening in small spaces in London where we live. We have a small little garden, and we realised that coming home from the 9 till 5, just clearing the garden, de-weeding, it was actually just really, really relaxing. And you could just be anywhere when you're in that zone. So we started Botanical Boys with the very simple fact, or the very simple sort of goal, is to bring people and teach them what we've already learned from miniature gardening.
Yeah.
And we've realised that we now do this on a regular basis and people really enjoy it. So yeah, very, very strong nature connection indeed, and we're finding that very quickly.
Amazing. And I know you ethically source your products. Could you possibly delve into that? I know you have quite a lot of rare and unique plants as well.
Yeah, we've got some rare plants. We tend to stay away from too much rare plants because they're very expensive and not a lot of people want to buy. Yeah. Because as I said, a lot of people are just coming out, especially into the city, they're new to gardening and they don't want to spend too much money on a very expensive plant, especially the young millennials, young professionals we work with a lot in our classes. But we do have a range on request. So if we get a special project, perhaps working with a property developer or a company, a residential company or someone else where they want to just do something quite different for their lobbies or reception areas, we will go the extra mile to find that special plant. But for the majority of our clients, 80%, they don't mind buying local house plants. We purchase a lot from the UK and also Europe. We get a lot of plants from Holland, which is a general thing in the industry, but it's not too far away. They get shipped over on a lorry. We don't use plane or air transport, at least, and we only purchase in bulk, so it reduces the time it's spent on the road. Yeah. So we like to think that we reduce the carbon emissions by doing that. And the packaging we get from our plants is also, some of that is actually recyclable. And in King's Cross, our landlords there in King's Cross, they have a very big recycling program. Amazing. So most of our stuff goes back into the recycling as well. So yeah, that's all good.
Amazing. And what would you say to people who are possibly thinking of using your services or the workshops?
I'll just say, our workshops are on our website, botanicalboys.com. We've got two sections, one for corporate bookings and one for public bookings. They're super popular. Otherwise, we wouldn't be standing here now today receiving this award, and which we're very grateful for. But we're a very unique individual botanical events, garden type business. So come down to King's Cross. You don't have to be in London, by the way. We get lots of people visiting family. And the nice thing about our terrarium events or our informative plant care events is you either take a lot of knowledge back with you and some plant care tips, and also equally your terrarium is easy to carry in our nice little unique little carriers, which we give our customers. Wonderful. So yeah, no excuse, guys. You can always get into the train and take your terrarium home and have a great 2 hours adventure with the Botanical Boys. So it's very easy to book.
And finally, what does the future look like for Botanical Boys?
Future looks green.
Yes.
Very much, So onwards and upwards. We're learning constantly in this industry. It's a very fast-paced industry. And there's lots of things people want, and in terms of styling their plants and how to look at plants and greenery in their lives. And certainly our events business has blossomed since last year. It's bounced back since COVID. During COVID, we worked online, so we were very lucky to keep some staff employed. And that taught us a lot of lessons about how we can package also our kits to teach people at home remotely if the request is needed going forward. So we've learned a lot, which means that we can use that knowledge to move forward into the next couple of years. This year we're extremely focused on our marketing campaigns and more style and homeware and handmade objects, which we've invested a lot of time and energy into, supporting lots of artists, which are also supporting us. And we like to think that we're supporting you as our clients with our unique approach to what we're doing with our botanics.
Yeah, exciting times ahead. Is there anything else you would like to add?
No, just say to everyone, always don't be afraid of plants. And if you've had any plants in your life that perhaps have not done so well, then keep trying. Because one thing I've learnt in life in particular, that failing at something is not necessarily a full stop, that we must continue going on. Those failures are only ways of learning not to do those things the same way, but in fact try it a different way. It's the same for plant care, it's the same for your life, it's the same for growing a business, or same for just working for someone else. You develop yourself consistently, and that's how I'd like to think Botanical Boys is going with our team, and consistently grow, learn and serve, and be the go-to botanical events company for London in particular.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Tash. And congratulations on your award again.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.